Alright, and the last one of the screencasts here is problem 2-21, and actually in some ways it's a little bit easier than 2-20. The first sketch we're going to start is on the XY plane, and we're going to think of this as an overall rectangle that is the overall height of the object. Now to find the height, it's 1.88 plus the radius of this arc, 0.68. So we can type that in as an equation, 1.88 plus 0.68. The width is pretty simple. It's 3.31, and the height on the other side is just 1.88 plus 0.68. So it's the same, so just a rectangle. So let's start and do that. Get over to Inventor and start a sketch. And let's use 2-point rectangle. And the height, well, first the width is 3.31, and the height is 1.88 plus 0.68. Enter. So there we go. We have that done. The next thing we need to do is do another rectangle. And before we draw that rectangle, let's take a look at the size. The size is going to be 1.88 plus 0.68, and we're going to dimension this to 0.31. On this side, we can dimension, you see this width here is also 0.31, and this one's 0.38. So, whoops, let's start a rectangle, and let's just draw it in kind of randomly. And then dimension from this left side to the left side, 0.31. From the bottom to the bottom, 0.31. And from the side to the side, 0.38. And we can finish. So 0.31, 0.31, 0.38, and they share at the same top. Finish the sketch. Click your roller so you can see. Let's go back to our drawings, and our first extrusion that we're going to do, this first width, is actually the diameter of this, so 0.68 times 2, because that radius goes from one side around to the other side. So let's do that first, 0.68 times 2. Extrude, and you have to pick, it could be one or the other, you pick this one. And we're going to type in 0.68 times 2. And our first thing we can do then is fill it. 0.68, this edge, and that edge. And apply. Now we'll go back to our drawings, and let's start with this end. The first thing we need to do, we can do these two holes. They are 0.75 away from each other, and the top one is centered on this arc, and the bottom one is right below it, directly below it, and they have a 0.56 diameter. They go all the way through. Now to draw on this, if we were to sketch here, it would turn it, and this surface would be in our way. So I'm going to hold down Shift, hold down my roller, and move. And when I get here, I'm going to, so I can see this side, start a sketch right here. I am going to project geometry, and I'm going to use this arc, and I'm going to make a point at the center of that arc and another one directly below it. I'll use this vertical constraining tool and click this arc and that arc, and then dimension from arc, the point to point, 0.75. So now when we finish sketch, go to our hole tool. Remember we said it was a 0.56 through hole, so 0.56. Distance through all. And that actually doesn't work because it tells it to go through the whole object. Remember, this had a thickness here of 0.31, so we can change it back to a distance 0.31. Alright, if we look here, for some reason it looks like it's going a lot further than it is. Whoops, I changed the diameter. 0.56, distance 0.31. There we go. So always I like to double look, check and look, and I found a mistake I was making there. So now we have that 0.31, 0.56. Okay. So that end, when we look at it, if we go back to our home view, I'm going to move it to this side and then bring up my drawings. So this end looks good. One thing we notice is there's a fillet and it's a radius of 0.25 and it says TYP. That means typical. That means this radius is the same as that radius. We'll tackle those later. Let's worry about this end. What we have is from the center of this object, we have 0.88 this way to an arc and 0.88 that way to an arc, and this arc is 0.68. So here we go. Let's see how we can tackle that. Let's start a sketch right here, and we are going to make a point and a point. First we'll dimension from here down. The radius is 0.68, so that's what it has to be. And from here down, 0.68. Now it should find a center, but it doesn't. So let's make a point and see it finds the center there. So that's the center of the object. Now we can dimension from that point to here. Remember that was 0.88. And the same thing happens over here. 0.88. Next thing we're going to do is make an arc, and we're going to do a center point arc. So let's go from the center up, and it has to be 90 degrees straight up, 0.68. Enter. Drag that around, and when it says 180 we can click. Do the same thing. Straight up, 0.68. Enter. Bring it around to 180 and click. Use the line tool and close it up. So we go green dot, green dot. Now the next thing is there's a cutout, and that cutout has a radius of 0.28. So here we go. We're going to go center point arc. Actually, I'm going to cancel that. We're going to finish this sketch and extrude this shape. We have to flip the direction, and we want to go 0.38. Sorry, I need to go back into that extrusion. That was a mistake. So let's just go back arrow, and let's try extruding again. And when you flip, sometimes it switches to cut. You need to make sure it's an add or join. So there we go. And now we're ready to go back in, start another sketch. This one's going to be a little bit easier because we can project the geometry. Arc, arc, point, center of the arc, center of the arc. Then we're going to draw a center point arc. Straight up at 90, and that arc is 0.28. Enter. Around to 180. Up 0.28. Enter. And around to 180. And a line from green dot to green dot, green dot to green dot. Finish sketch and extrude. Instead of add, we want to cut. A distance of 0.38, and there we go. Last thing we go back to our drawing. We have to put these in 0.25, and then there's two right here, and they're 0.21, so we'll do that quick. Fillet, 0.25, this edge, and then if you come in here, you can get that line. Click, apply, change it to 0.21, And if you get here, it rounds that, and here, and apply. That is the object. Double click your roller, it centers it. I like to change my view again to shaded smooth, and let's just move it over here so we can open up the drawing and take a look. There is our part. That is problem 2.21 completed. So we'll go back to Inventor one more time, save as, and here's all my other ones I've made. 2.20 got cut off, and you can see what you missed is I saved it to the same spot. So this one here we're going to save to the same folder. You should see them all if you've done them all. 2.21 or 2-21 JT, and save. And there it is. For some reason it brings back that old visual style. That's alright. That is it.